Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your Planning Outlook video updated on Boxing Day, the 26th of December. I hope you've all had a good Christmas. We've got some wintry weather back in the picture then as we're going over these next few days. Some snow around from the Peak District to Wales, even to northern Scotland. Areas in between, largely dry and bright with some crisp winter sunshine. A rather unsettled period then is looking believable through into New Year. Weather systems coming in from the Atlantic. Some snowfalls across the Scottish mountains. You need to watch some stormy winds at times. Let's have a look at the snow depth chart then. This is just through to the end of Wednesday first of all, and it picks out across Wales and into the Peak District where some snow is likely in the early hours of Wednesday. Around 5 to 10 centimetres is believable across mid Wales and parts of the Peak District. How far north that those fronts get in the early hours still open to a bit of question. I think anywhere north of say about the M62 and it won't ever really get there, so the Yorkshire Dales seeing little if anything. Likewise much of the Lake District, and the snow that's picked out across the south of Scotland is what's left over from Christmas Day, as we saw a weather system moving through there. Snow showers affecting the northwestern Highlands, the northern Cairngorms, areas across the central southern Highlands, seeing little if anything over the days ahead as winds are north-northwesterly. Just running forwards through Thursday and going through into Friday, we'll see at that stage some further fronts coming in from the Atlantic, which will give a period of snowfall across the Scottish mountains into Friday. Freezing levels by then will tend to rise further south, so the snow disappears as we head towards the weekend across most of England and Wales. But the Scottish Highlands likely to stay near or below freezing point, so the snow that falls will accumulate and more or less stay in place, with higher terrain frozen into the New Year weekend. Let's show you temperatures then, and this is the 850 millibar chart. That's around 4 to 4,500 feet at this stage, so you're looking at values around -6 or thereabouts across the Scottish Highlands, the highest tops at this time. That's through Wednesday, and that cold air stays in place as we go forwards into Thursday, -6, -7 maybe on top of Ben Nevis and Cairngorms, and terrain pretty widely frozen, only lower coastal slopes really rising above freezing through this time. And that goes more or less for England and Wales as well. Then the milder air, less cold air, it may be said, coming in from the southwest into Friday. Freezing levels will lift in England and Wales, and eventually will lift to some degree in Scotland, although, as I said, that higher terrain probably remaining frozen through into the weekend. Freeze and thaw cycles may occur across England and Wales, although generally milder temperatures with the freezing levels just above the higher summits for most parts of the Pennines, Lakes and Snowdonia. In Scotland, though, through the weekend, probably remaining below freezing above, say, around 900 to 1,000 metres, perhaps a bit lower, just depending on the progress of incoming weather systems. Let's run through the synoptic charts. Then on Wednesday, we've got an area of low pressure moving away eastwards. We've got the strongest of the winds focused on the Peak District, the Pennines, possibly Snowdonia, and northern Scotland too, just with that northerly flow. Could be 30-40 miles per hour at its strongest, but central parts of Scotland look to be having lighter winds. And once any early sleet and snow across the Peak District clears, a broadly dry, bright day down the spine of the country, from central Scotland down to the Lake District and the Pennines. Some snow showers in the far north of Scotland, and some snow showers just feeding in onto Irish Sea coasts in West Wales. Strongest of the winds on Thursday focus more towards northeast Scotland. 30-40 miles per hour are possible on the Cairngorms, lighter winds elsewhere, but still a significant wind chill factor where you're directly exposed. We've got, again, some snow showers draped across northern Scotland, around some Irish Sea coast as well, but for many places a dry, bright day with a good amount of winter sunshine. Things changing though by Friday as a front moves in from the Atlantic, that with snow pretty widely across the Scottish Highlands and starting off as snow across much of the Pennines and Wales, but the freezing level will rise and mostly turning to rain up to higher tops in England and Wales, but the snow will be around across the Highlands for much of the day, fading out gradually as that front weakens, but the next weather system will sweep in off the Atlantic by Friday evening. Winds will then strengthen up towards severe gale force in the mountains, and some heavy rain and snow will sweep into Scotland. There's some uncertainty what's left of that system. It's the low that's focused there on Saturday. It could well be gales or severe gales across the Scottish Highlands, some areas of persistent rain and snow. Further south, somewhat milder air with some persistent rain coming into parts of Wales, and could still be a windy day even across many parts of the Pennines and Snowdonia, so just keep an eye on those details. Now, it's all very messy as we head into the New Year period. Don't take any detail out of it at this stage, but just the message that we're seeing various complex areas of low pressure passing eastwards, coming in from the North Atlantic. Which one of those is the most severe and active system? Hard to say. At some point, there may well be gales, storm force winds even across the mountains. Some snow possible across Scotland, the cold air hanging on here. I think further south more often of rain, but higher tops in England and Wales occasionally seeing some snowfalls coming through. And those active weather systems likely to affect Northern Europe and coming into Biscay as well. So a pretty widely unsettled trend as we go into the start of 2018. Finally then, just a look at the first full week of January, and we've got the pressure anomalies shown here. Low pressure is in charge to the west and northwest of Britain, so pretty unsettled. The wind flow coming around from the west or the southwest. There may still be cold enough air that's being drawn in from the North Atlantic and Greenland at times to keep particularly Scotland near or below freezing on the mountains. With frontal systems coming in, some frequent precipitation, snow on higher areas, rain at lower slopes, and maybe across most of England and Wales it's mild enough to be broadly rain at this stage, and the risk of gales or severe gales should storm systems really get going. It's all being driven by that temperature contrast that's across the USA and some very cold areas across the eastern half of North America. The jet stream then is fired up and sent across the Atlantic as that clash of air masses, the polar air out of Canada meeting the more tropical air masses coming out of the Caribbean. That just sets off the jet stream and it sets storm systems off in our direction. And that may well be the pattern that we're stuck with then heading into mid-January, with a rather unsettled regime coming in from the Atlantic. Long way to go to get the absolute details, so we'll keep an eye on things and we'll update in this planning video on Friday and keep right up to date with the very latest information in all the written files updated every single day here at the Mountain Weather Information Service. Thanks for watching, bye for now.